Hi, I'm Jill Segerman with AMS, and today I am here talking with Meher Van Gruno. And Meher is a Montessori teacher and trainer with many years of experience in the field, and I'm lucky that I get to have this opportunity to chat with you today, Meher.
Thank you.
Um, so my question, we're talking about joy, and my question to you as a Montessorian is, how does helping children find or open their gifts bring you joy?
I want to give you a little bit of background of my career. I was a social worker and I worked with foster children for some years. And what was so discouraging to me is that I would work with these kids and then I'd say, okay, I've helped them. And then a few months later, they're fallen apart. And I always felt that I was making no change in their life, nothing. When I switched to education, and especially when I learned about Montessori, um, what I realized is that it's what we help the children with has to be more permanent, not just solutions for their symptoms or things like that. So it's the when the child has that aha moment that he has figured something out, or there is that sparkle in his eye, or he walks in the morning and he says, Miss Meher, our earth is a sphere. And I say, yes, he got it. So those are the moments. And what has amazed me for having been in the field for so long is some of those kids have grown up, are in college, and um, they remember those little things that matter to them. That that North America is orange, I mean, or it's not. Or Europe is red, and why is Europe not everywhere red? Things like that. Those are very important moments. It's so interesting that I asked them, if I run into, and I said, what was important to you in Montessori? And there are all kind of answers, but it's just some things that they say that has stayed with me is um, it's that you let us explore, you let us find it ourselves. This is one of the person who is a checker in one of a grocery store, and he said, "You don't remember me, but I was a little child in your school." I said, "What are you doing now?" He says, "I'm uh, finishing medical school, but I work on the side here." And so I asked him, and he said, I discovered my strengths. I discovered what I can do and I cannot do. And I set my goals based on that. To me, that's amazing.
I agree. That is amazing. And it must be amazing to find those students all these years later who can tell you how important what your work was then is still to them now.
Yes, it is. I mean, I think that's our only reward that we should be looking for as Montessorians or teachers, that what difference did we make in that child's life, in every child that we come across, what difference did we make? And if we have made that little difference, we have done our work.
As a busy teacher, I know when you're teaching in a classroom and you have a classroom filled with children, there are many things that you are responsible for and many things that you have to do. So how do you keep that focus on supporting the child in opening or finding their gifts? How do you keep that in your mind all day long with everything you have to do?
That is such an important question, because when I teach the adults, the teachers, one thing I want them to find in themselves, I call it intuitive attention. I say it's not just observation, what the child is doing right in front of your nose, but what is going on in him. what is he learning from this? What triggers this behavior and what triggers that behavior? So it's the intuitive attention to me is integration of all the knowledge that we have about that child, about the environment, about our own learning, about our own personality. And that you put together and you know what the child is learning. It's like, beyond stepping in child's mind, you just know it intuitively. This is what he's doing. Somebody says it's like child whisperer, like horse whisperer, that you just intuitively know. And I think that's very true.
So you talked about supporting children. You talked about, as a teacher educator, supporting teacher educators, people who are going to be teachers. What about parents? I'm sure that you have an opportunity to interact with parents on a regular basis. How do you help them outside of the classroom see this in their own children?
What I tell them, one thing is that raising children is not one night business. It's all your life. Even when they turn 40, they still are your children. And I'm old-fashioned in that. I say, parents always have a right to say what's on their mind. And children can take it or not take it. I'm talking about adult children, older children. Younger children, you have to guide them. You have to set limits, because otherwise they're lost. They depend on you for that guidance, for that leading them into the right direction. And if you think love means giving them whatever they want, then you will get a spoiled brat. Sorry to say that, but it's you will have a child that doesn't know. First of all, you don't help him learn his own limitations that way. And also the social consciousness that we live in a society, and I cannot have everything I want because there is only so much in the world, and we need to distribute it. I actually do an exercise in the classroom. I cut an apple in small pieces and say it makes 8 pieces, and I say, okay, well, here we have 8 pieces. How many pieces would you like? I let the children come and take what they want. And then all the apple is gone. I said, well, what about all those who didn't get it? So what should we do? It's a very concrete way of explaining. Another thing, so I say you have to provide that independence gradually. It's like a circle. As the child begins to take the responsibility of his behavior, then that circle grows and becomes bigger, and is more independent. But its independence and freedom is not offered in a platter. It has to be earned by each child. That's one thing I say. And I think another thing that I say to parents is, child is born with his own gifts. You cannot impose anything on them because you want it. There's Khalil Gibran has said very nicely, he's a philosopher, that children are born from you, but they are not you. And you have to help them become who they are going to be. That's, to me, is very important. Sometimes parents bring up and say, he never listens to me, and there is a new sibling in the family. And this I want to share for whoever would like to know. I say, love is not limited. So when the sibling is born, your older child feels very jealous, then do this exercise. That in the evening when you're sitting down to have dinner, have low lights and have 4 candles unlit. And you lit one candle and say, this is me, and this light is my love. And when I found your father I gave him my love. And I gave him, and the other candle is lit. Now there are two candles lit. And say, and I gave him, and it is not any less love I have. In fact, we have more love together. Then you were born and lit the third candle. Say, we lit that. Now we have more love together. Look at how much light there is. Now your little brother is born. We have, so, it just is very concrete way of doing things. And parents, many parents have said when that situation has come up.
Thank you so much. These are all wonderful ideas for teachers, for teacher educators, and for parents. Thank you so much for taking the time to share your experiences and ideas with us.
You're very welcome. Thank you for talking to me, Jill.
Your support fuels our work. Visit amshq.org/donate to find out how you can help.